Wall Street sees a sharp decline as cryptocurrency markets surge. According to some experts, a $20,000 Bitcoin is highly likely in 2018. Bytom eyes a $1 billion market cap after surging 97%. Ripple's XRP is absolutely not a security, according to them. Bermuda turns up its hospitality for blockchain businesses. Alibaba Cloud subsidiary unveils a blockchain-based tracking mechanism for luxury goods. More FUD from Verge as Ledger says that they are not working on any integration with the project and they do not know where those funds are going. Will we see a $1 trillion market cap? Poet releases a WordPress integration. And we show you just how hard it was to send an email in 1984. We've lost a bit of ground over the last few hours, but we are holding strong. We've got all your headlines mixed with some daily market analysis. I'm Elio Trades, and your FUD TV daily update starts now. That's right, just diving here on the total market caps, we can see that Bitcoin is just under 8,000, 79.53. It's getting right, it's not quite getting beaten back by that 8K resistance, but there is a bit of resistance there. Of course, it is Saturday. This is the slip and slide day. The weekend is always a bit weaker. I always tend to buy on Saturdays and Sundays. So we can see here that Bitcoin is down a little, almost just under 2%, and we can see Ethereum, the whole top 10 are down, and that's of course because we've had such a good week. If you look over here on the week charts, you can just see every chart had a nice pump over the last few days, except for, of course, Tether, which shouldn't be pumping at all. And then we just see that there is some pullback here. There's a little bit of pullback. Of course, Bitcoin pulled back. The rest of the market pulled back. Nothing to be truly concerned about, of course, because we had so much positive growth, so much positive momentum throughout the week. Siacoin with a nice 11% pump. That's great. I'm actually a big believer in Siacoin. Really love their project. Funfair with a 7.9% pump. Syscoin, iOS token. This is okay. This is good stuff. There's nothing huge going on here. We can just see it's a little bit of a slow day here on a Saturday as we're trying to figure out how we're building momentum. There have been prediction after prediction after prediction made about this coming week being the big sort of correction, the big sort of end to the bull cycle, or the bear cycle rather, and that we're going to start building momentum. Maybe it's not a long-lasting dragon run bull run that lasts for a year and a half, but maybe it is a bull run that lasts for at least a few weeks or at least a month or so, and we can start to see some positive momentum building here into the summer. I know that a lot of experts have also predicted a very late summer super bull run, but we'll see what's going to happen and when sort of Bitcoin season comes into play and whether altcoin season will actually come with it. Obviously, there's a lot more understanding of alts, and I don't think they necessarily have this inverse relationship to Bitcoin all the time anymore. It seems like when Bitcoin bulls, a lot of the alts will also bull. All in all, it's not a huge day of losses. We're still holding strong above 300 billion, right above the $315 billion mark, and that is good because we were as low as 245 all of a few days ago. So we've really tremendous. Think about that. That's almost half. That's almost a 50% gain there from 245 to 315. We were actually above that 330. We were at that 50% gain. So we're really making geometric growth here through the market, even if that was a short squeeze or whatever caused the Bitcoin price to pump. Obviously, we didn't cover that extensively, but supposedly it was a short squeeze that created this pump in the market. And so yes, maybe the Bitcoin pump wasn't all that organic, but there is still an expectation that there's a lot of money coming into the market. And for that reason, there is a lot of interest and there's a lot of predictions that Bitcoin, it has bottomed out and that the bear trend is largely coming to an end, if not already over. Hopping into some news, we're going to analyze how the stock market's falling, crypto is surging, and what does it mean? Are we in a new era where crypto is taking all the shine away from the stock market, or some of the shine at least? So despite the fact that a lot of big banks and equity traders have actually increased their liquidity, increased their revenues, stock prices from big banks and Wall Street in general were falling yesterday and falling throughout the week. A lot of people think this had something to do with the rally. Of course, there was a little mini rally that started last week. You can see here after the big dive from a couple of weeks ago, we saw a little mini rally here, and we see that, the stock price is trying to get back up here to where it was. This is a good time to take profits. If you bought down here at 68 and you're up here at 72, obviously in crypto land, that's one mini trade. But, in a lot of other people's minds, that's a big trade. So that could be what happened here with the Citigroup stock. But again, there was another rally here on the JP Morgan stock. That could just be what's going on as people are taking profits. There has been a bit of a change of paradigm here, that BTC has become the new stock market indicator as the lead horse of risk assets. Anyway, we know that cryptocurrency is going to be stealing some shine from the mainstream stock market. It's very interesting whenever the stock market has bad weeks and crypto has good weeks, as personally, I believe that that's going to start occurring more and more and more. I don't know if anybody's checked, but right now our sort of housing lending practices in the United States are extremely risky, just as risky as they were in 2008. And supposedly I've heard analyses that they're actually worse. We're actually in a worse spot from a housing and mortgage standpoint. So yeah, I think that, you know, the more instability you see in the main traditional investing world, the more upside you're going to see and the more sort of thirst you're going to see for alternatives in the cryptocurrency world. So while this may or may not be correlated this week, I do believe there is a growing correlation between traditional markets and cryptocurrency markets. And as Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies prove themselves out over time, repeatedly, you'll start to see that those markets will just continue to grow and steal that shine. And to that effect, Bitcoin has been predicted to hit $20,000 by Pantera Capital, who, like we said, they are known for making just a few calls here and there over their several years of existence, but they've all been really good ones. Is $20,000 very likely to happen for Bitcoin this year? Of course it is. Look, the bear trend has been brutal, but the price overextension of Bitcoin was also brutal. We're not any lower than we were in November of last year, right when this mania really kicked off. A lot of the people who hate on Bitcoin hate on the fact that people in lower positions or sort of democratized workers have found out about it, like people who are shining shoes and they are taxi drivers and stuff. They're talking about Bitcoin, and that really turns off traditional investors because traditional investors are used to this sort of superiority thing where only they have access to information. Well, that's not the world we're living in anymore. And the fact that Bitcoin can correct now and attract those big traditional investors even after this 60% or 70% price drop that it had from $20,000 back down to $6,000. Well, we're at the 8K that it was at right before it totally ballooned up to 20. I mean, if you remember, it was at 8,000 right before Thanksgiving, and then it just exploded up to 20,000, which if you think about Bitcoin, yes, it's an explosive currency, but to go from 8K to 20K in just a few hours is a lot. That's a lot of growth. Maybe not percentage-wise the largest growth ever for Bitcoin, but it's huge. And so now that that mania has settled off, the fact that we're getting huge injections of foundational institutional money into Bitcoin, well, once that mania returns from the retail investment community, we know what's going to happen. Bitcoin is going to hit 20K, 30K, 40K. It's going to go up, up, up. Who knows how fast, who knows when, but it is going. If you guys aren't on team BTFD, I just want you to check this out. If you can buy something for $7 grand, which was at one point $20,000, it's probably a good trade. And the Chinese digital asset platform Bytom eyes a $1 billion market cap, trying to be the 25th coin to do so. Bytom essentially allows you to tokenize real assets, put them on the blockchain, and trade them in the friction-free digital world that we love. Most of the founders are associated with the Chinese media source around cryptocurrency called 8BTC. Obviously, this is an exciting project. We're just seeing here how easy it is for coins to really swell in their value even before they have mainnet releases. Bytom is still an ERC20 token, and it's still just post-ICO phase, hasn't released any tech, but it's just showing how this market is ripe with so much interest, so much excitement for what's going to be happening with tokenizing and digitalizing assets. The internet of money is real, and this is about to be the 25th billion-dollar unicorn project. I don't know if we call them unicorns in cryptocurrency, but it sort of feels like they're definitely unicorns. Maybe the unicorns are more like Bitcoin and Ethereum, but this is the 25th billion-dollar market cap project in cryptocurrency. So good for you, Bytom. Woo! And yes, I know, you've been thinking it, I've been thinking it, you've all been thinking it. Is XRP a security? According to Ripple's chief market strategist, Corey Johnson, XRP is absolutely not a security. We are absolutely not a security. We do not meet the standards for what a security is based on the history of court law. Furthermore, Coinbase never ever raised the issue of whether XRP is a security in our discussion about listing XRP. We're 100% clear it's not a security. We don't meet the standards. A security really does have specific definitions. It's not just any publicly offered investment here. So the reality is that this is good, and seeing such big players in the game like XRP, Ripple, really forcing the conversation to differentiate between non-securities and securities. This is critical for us to evolve as an industry, as lumping everything in as unregistered securities or securities. That's a good way to make sure that the cryptocurrency market never gets out of its infancy if everything is overregulated and everything is grouped unnecessarily so as a security when it's not. Ripple added that they totally love the government and they are super cool with regulators and stuff. What's that? Breaking news. Bermuda wants you to live there and set up the next big blockchain company? Look, it really shouldn't be too hard to convince you to go to Bermuda to set up the next big blockchain company. I mean, right? That's right. In more unsurprising news, Bermuda has thrown their hat in the ring trying to become the next big blockchain island. I guess Malta really set the tone here, showing that any small country with enough hospitality can really attract the next big blockchain company. And that is precisely what Bermuda is trying to do. And we have word that Alayun, an Alibaba Group subsidiary, is going to be helping introduce luxury goods product tracking for Alibaba. It's another blockchain integration. We don't need to go too deep into this, as we've covered a lot of forays by Alibaba and other similar big brands into blockchain. But we do know that Alayun has this sort of informal working agreement with Walton Chain on a smart city, but we don't know exactly what's going to be going on and how they're implementing this luxury goods tracking. But we know that they are definitely having already relationships with IoT sort of blockchains, logistics supply blockchains like Walton Chain. They probably have some kind of open relationship with VeChain, and they might actually be working with them or having some kind of custom internal sort of solution that they've developed. We're not really sure, but it's very, very interesting what they're doing here. And the Alayun Group, so good for Alibaba, more stories of implementing blockchain. We knew this was going to happen, and we're just keeping you up to date as it does happen. And will we hit $1 trillion market cap? Obviously, this is a speculative concept here, but in my humble opinion, I believe that as soon as Bitcoin starts making all-time highs, we're going to start seeing that $1 trillion market cap race towards a reality. When Bitcoin hit $8,000 after Thanksgiving, which is right where we are right now, it ballooned to almost 20K in a matter of days. By December 19th, just 3 weeks later, it was literally over almost triple the size. And so that's a ton of growth to happen in a very small amount of time. And so the correction was obviously, it wasn't necessarily needed, but it was definitely warranted. And the fact is, as soon as Bitcoin starts making those highs again, people are going to be triply excited because they're going to know that even if it crashes, it's going to come back. The hodler mindset will have been proven out on a global scale. Pretty awesome stuff. If Bitcoin makes all-time highs with any time to spare before probably November, then I think $1 trillion market cap in 2018 is all but guaranteed. Of course, not financial advice, blah-de-da-de-da, do your own research. And we don't even really want to cover this anymore because we're so sick of it, but Verge, apparently the Ledger team is saying that the Verge being sold is not for an integration with Ledger. The Ledger team is completely unaware of any integration if there is one. And so we're not saying that there isn't an integration happening because Ledger did say that their preferred method of integration is essentially to let the dev team do it. Regardless, it's looking like that integration isn't all that it's cracked up to be, and that Verge is really being dumped. So we don't know what it's being dumped for. What the Verge team is saying, again, conflicts with other facts. So sorry, Verge fam, we're really trying not to cover it, but it keeps being headline news here. It keeps being a front page topic here that the facts seem to disagree with the overriding evidence around the Verge project. So like we said, we're happy to be proven wrong and have all of this be proven that they're going to have this huge partnership, huge integration, all this money's been spent responsibly. It's just not what it appears to be at the moment. And yes, Poet got its WordPress integration. What this means is that you'll now be able to timestamp your content through WordPress and have it be stored on the blockchain, helping further Poet's mission of essentially allowing for people to truly own their content and have it proven that it's their content. I love this play. I think all content plays are going to really threaten the sort of underpinnings of the centralized social media revolution that happened in the early 2000s. I think that this is the real threat. The anti-Facebook, the anti-Twitter, these sort of content ownership platforms are going to happen. They're going to work too. And finally, we just wanted to show you, this is a little bit of an uplifting thing. This is a video from 1984 where they try to show you how to send an email. And essentially this couple is explaining how they use this computer to send email, and they're saying how easy it is, but then they like plug in the dial-up router, and then they plug it into the router, and then they dial on the phone. Here, I'll show you them, they're dialing on the phone here. And they're like, wow, it's so easy. Wow, it's so easy. But meanwhile, it's actually pretty cumbersome and complex. And that's kind of how it feels with cryptocurrency, where everybody's going, wow, it's the easiest way to send money. It's the easiest, most logical way to send money. And people are sitting there with their credit cards going, huh? That's much easier. And in the end, where we're at is dial-up. Where we're at is 1984 emails. And so we are not in a place where user-friendliness and sort of mass adoption can happen yet. And we're just not, because this is how our system works. The point is, we're not going to get this technology adopted with tech that works like a 1984 email system. It's just not going to happen. But it does warm my heart knowing that we're not even in 95. We're in 85 right now with the way our tech works. And the way that we're going to progress, it's going to be insane by the time we reach the modern era or whatever, when we're actually having cryptos fully integrated, fully adopted. We have a lot to look forward to. We're so early. So early, guys. And ladies, equality. Thanks as always to everyone who's been rocking with us, commenting, liking, subscribing, sharing that broadcast, of course. Thank you so much, you guys. You make this whole journey of cryptocurrency YouTubing worth its weight in gold or Bitcoin. If you're an investor or enthusiast about cryptocurrency and you're not subscribed to this channel, we highly, highly recommend that you do. We try to put out the newest and truest content in the space, so subscribe and hit that bell notification so you're made aware whenever we do put out content. Thanks so much. It's been an absolute pleasure having you with me today on FUD TV. I'm Elio Trades, and I'll see you very soon on the next episode.